I encourage you and I advise you to concentrate on the IG rules from now. So next year you can just dig into more details and practice more so you can take your exam in grade 10. So back to our book. This book, the writing book written by Alison Digger as an author, emphasizes or highlights the IG exam, mainly the writing section, but also it talks about the other parts of the exam. Let's take a tour inside of the book. First of all, the introduction talks about the exam overview, how many questions, how many exercises, and how many papers. Of course, we know we have paper 2, paper 4, and paper 5 for speaking. The first part or the first section of the book is talking about your informal writing, how we have different kinds of English, the friendly register and the formal one, and the difference between them. Of course, we have been through this, and you have been through this since last year, and of course you are aware that if you're writing a friendly register means that you're going to use contractions, idioms, phrasal verbs, and abbreviations like TV, IG, different abbreviations. But when it comes to formal, you're not going to do this. In section 2 was the purple. Let me try to use the highlighter because it doesn't want to work. Morning. It doesn't. The file is protected. So the part 2 here was purple is about types of informal writing. In grade 8, you took the structure of the friendly email or letter and what to avoid, what to write, how to write the introduction, how to write the salutation, which is dear, name, and then the comma. Also, you took the signature. But time to know by the end of year 8 that you will face a lot of types or categories of friendly letters. We have descriptive, advice, narrative, and descriptive narrative. Not all the friendly emails are one type. No, we have a lot of types, and you are going to recognize them from the question itself. If it said describe, you're going to use the descriptive register. If it said one friend is asking for your advice, you're going to use the advice register, and so on. Narrative, if they say tell, the word tell means experience, so you're going to use the narrative register. And there is something called descriptive narrative. You have to know that you have different types, and then next year you're going to take them into details. In section 3 of the book, you are going to get exposed to the formal writing. Here, views and arguments, the argumentative essay that you already studied this year, opinions, suggestions, and problem and solution, and of course, how to write formal register. Still, you have to take book reviews have been covered, kind of. You still have to take school magazines and reports according to the new syllabus. Okay. In section 4, the book is going to get through the reading questions. They're going to give you an overview about the reading exercises. Exercise 1, exercise 2 and 3, they are cancelled, and then the book is going to discuss the summaries, and of course summaries are a lot of types. You just took a general overview about the summary. It's exercise 5 in the past paper, while it's exercise 4 in the new exams. You took how to answer, or the main idea of answering the summary, but still you need to know that summaries have some types. They are not all one type. In section 6 of the book, you are going to read about listening, which is paper 4, how to achieve high scores in the listening exam, giving you an overview because the book is not specified text about listening. It's mainly about writing here, but it's going to go through listening and overview. It's going to tell you tips about the speaking paper, which is paper 5. In the last part of the book, actually it's a treasure. I like this part, which is part 7. Give you tips about spelling, also about confused here it is, confused phrases, grammar points, essential prepositions, and a lot of important parts or important pieces of information for you as an IG student. Introduction is worth reading. By the way, every single word in this book is worth reading. It's explaining reading, writing, paper one, what is paper two. And of course, I believe that you, as my students, already know what is inside paper one, what is paper two, three, and four, also five. But also, if you want to read it, that would be an extra credit. Um, Let me go through all of this because today I need to highlight a specific topic, which is the friendly email, a specific type of friendly emails. The first type in the book is the descriptive letter, but I'm not going to cover it this year because it has a lot of details. It explains how to describe your house, how to describe your room, your brother, sister, friend. It has a lot of details and a lot of things to be said. So, as online classes, I chose to give you the advice email or advice letter. As you can see here, the book, after explaining each type of letters or each type of register, it gives you examples of real IG students for your age writing their own emails, and then the author gives general comments, what is good about the email, what's wrong. This part is really beneficial for you, so do not go to next year without this book. If you are even not sure what you're going to do in year 10, just keep this book because being unsure means that you might settle on IGCSE. So unit 2 is my topic for today, which is the friendly letter advice. You're going to see in the exam what means that a friend of yours has sent you an email complaining or feeling that they are facing some troubles because they are not doing well with the math, for example. They are moving to a new school and they are feeling lonely, or they are feeling or being bullied, or they are not feeling fit, and so on. Not feeling fit here means they do not exercise enough, so they do not feeling fit. I'm not talking about the fit in a community. So here actually the email is going to be really different than the one that you are used to, because I have a lot of things to say. First of all, the problems are going to be school related because it is an IG exam for an age group. So do not expect a problem that is really big about the galaxy. No, it's going to be something related to you, a subject being overweight, being underrated, being bullied, something like this. The author of the book is asking you to be as nice as you can, as kind as you can, compassionate, because your friend is sending you an email asking for your advice. And of course, the first thing that comes to your mind as a person that you ask your friend for your advice, a friend of your age. So they're asking you to be kind, not to give your friend the sense that you are superior or that you are better than them. You have to show that you are sympathetic and you feel them, as written here. You have to make your friend feel comfortable and not feeling shame. For example, you cannot give them a lot of judgment, or you cannot judge them in a way or another. So as written here, you are a friend, sympathetic, you understand the problem. You have to show that you understand, really you do understand the problem. You must make your friend feel comfortable. You do not have, or you must not appear to be superior and is better than your friend in a way or another. Here is an example of a student who wrote a wrong register or wrong text for a reply for an advice email. Well, you couldn't have asked a better person. Everyone knows how hopeless you are at math. I'm an A student, so I know everything. You did the right thing to come to me. This is a rude person who does not feel their friend. They are not a friend even, and it's not worth even one mark to be given. So this is totally wrong to be written as a reply to an advice request. Your friend is asking for your advice. You are their age. You feel them. You cannot give them a lecture about how good you are or how arrogant you are and that they suck at math, for example, or English, whatever the problem is. Or, yes, I know you eat too much. That's why you are being overweight. No, you have to be compassionate and make your friend really feel comfortable. Another point that the book advise you to do or suggest that you to apply is not to give a lot of advice, not lot of pieces of advice, because as an example here, you're asking your um, father for advice, and then he keeps talking and talking and talking. At the point, you're going to lose interest and you're not going to listen to him. So the book is giving you a maximum number for pieces of advice, and they are three. Let me give an example here. Your friend is sending you an email complaining or being sad that she gained a lot of weight and she is being overweight. The three advices or three pieces of advice that you're going to put, for example, or for instance, advise her to stop eating junk food, advise her to work out or to exercise more, advise her to drink more water. And the book is telling you that, okay, you are going to choose three main pieces of advice, and then you're going to elaborate or you're going to explain more. Okay, so let's agree that you're not going to say more than three pieces of advice for each problem. She's going to ask you to talk about one problem, so limit yourself to a maximum of three pieces of advice. Personalize means you have to show that you know the person, and like you know the friend personally, by saying, I know how much you love chocolate, or I know you're couch potato, you're not that active, but let's try together. Like you have to personalize and show, because it's a friend after all asking you for advice, so it means like you are close and you know this friend really well. Support each idea, for example, drinking water, and then you're going to say your reasons. Stopping or cutting out junk food, and then you're going to say your reasons. Exercising, and then you're going to say your reason. Avoid listing, avoid saying 1, 2, 3. Avoid listing. When it comes to IG as a whole system, they hate listing. So let's see the basic plan or the skeleton of the letter. First of all, I want you to forget all what we have been practicing about the introduction, which is, I'm sorry, I haven't written for ages, but I was busy with my Olympics. No, was written by someone, and she knows herself there. Anyways, here, this is a person who is desperate, and she's a friend. She's sending you an email. Of course, you're not going to leave her for ages before you reply. This is going to be so bad, and you're not going to be a reliable friend anymore. So here, the introduction is going to be different. You are going to avoid apology. So no apology when it comes to advice letters. Avoid apology. It is a major mistake that would sorry, make you really lose a lot of marks when it comes to content, and of course even the coherence. So you're going to start the letter by saying, it was really, or it was lovely to get your letter. It was great to hear from you. Bear in mind that you have to read the question really well of the exam, so you can understand what exactly the email is about. Is it an advice letter, or it is descriptive, or descriptive, describe, narrative, tell, and so on. You're going to start by saying, it was lovely to get your letter. It was great to hear from you. You can mention when exactly they sent, yesterday, this morning, a few minutes ago. Here it's really clear that they have just sent the email, not days ago or years ago. That's why avoid starting the introduction with an apology when it comes to the advice letters or emails. Okay, now you're going to build the sentence up by saying, it was lovely to hear from you this morning, but I was sorry, or I'm sorry to hear that you are worried about your weight, you are having trouble with science, to hear that you are unhappy with not being fit, and so on. So again, it was lovely to hear from you this morning, but I was sorry to hear that you are not happy or unhappy with your new schools, for example. Okay, so back to the page. It was lovely to hear from you this morning, comma, but I was sorry to hear your word about work. And then you're going to say, I know how you feel, or I know what you are going through. Here you're trying to reassure your friend, making her feel comfortable, making her feel that you are on the same page with her, you're not against her, you're not judging her. you are on the same boat and you have been through this experience before. So you're soothing her. So I know how you feel, what it's like. So if you're going to use the present perfect, you're not going to say when exactly. If you're using the past simple, you're going to use last term, when I moved here, when I started this school. And this gives you really an answer of why I'm killing my lungs all year long, giving you grammar, because you're going to apply it really well in your writing. Here, if you're going to say, look, you're having here two examples. It was lovely to hear from you this morning, but I was sorry to hear you're worried about your schoolwork. Don't worry, I know what it's like because I was in the same boat last term. Look, girls here, and I want you to concentrate. I know what it's like because I was simple past, in the same boat last term. Here I mentioned when exactly I was in the same boat without any thinking. Use a simple past because you're saying when, as I told you before, a time frame, yesterday, last week, last year, last term. Whenever you are mentioning and you care and keen on when exactly, use the simple past. On the other hand, here, the other example or the another thing, it was great to get your letter yesterday, but I'm sorry you're worried about being overweight. Try not to worry about it. I know how you feel because I have been in the same boat. Difference between the first example and the second example is here she or you are going to mention when exactly you were in the same boat, but here you're saying in your lifetime or your experience that you have been in the same boat. So again, if you are mentioning when exactly, use the past simple. It was lovely to hear from you this morning, but I was sorry to hear you are worried. Concentrate with the contractions that are being used, the comma before the conjunction, which is but. About your schoolwork, don't worry or try not to worry about it. Both are fine for me. Don't worry, try not to worry about it. I know how you feel. Here you're soothing your friend, making it really comfortable to talk to you. This is the first paragraph. The book is really nice, giving you four introductions, and they're asking you to tell what's wrong with each one and what's good with each one. Like, for example, the first paragraph here, or the first introduction, they're giving you four examples or four pictures of the introduction. The first one, I'm sorry I haven't written for so long, but I've been busy studying and haven't had the time. Anyway, I thought I would drop you a line to give you some ideas on how to lose weight. What is the problem with this paragraph, with this introduction? Can you see anything wrong with this introduction? Me, as a person, I see it has a lot of problems. First of all, it's starting with an apology. You cannot start with an apology. The person or the student is saying, I'm sorry, I haven't written for so long. How on earth you haven't written for so long? And I'm asking you for advice. This is one of the no-nos that you should not use. But I've been busy studying. You cannot start complaining and saying that you're busy. Haven't had the time. No. Anyways, no. I thought I would drop you a line to give you some advice or some ideas on how to lose weight. It gives the sense that you are better than here's the hero who's going to come and give me the advice or the ideas on how to lose weight. This is really against the idea of you feeling compassionate and sympathetic and nice and soothing and all the other positive vocabulary. So the first paragraph or the first introduction is totally wrong, and the student has taken a big fat zero for it. Number two, I have been meaning to write for ages, but I'm afraid I just haven't got around to it. It was lovely to get your letter yesterday. I thought I would drop you a line to help you organize your studying hours as you asked me in the last letter. What's wrong with this introduction? Does it have something good? And what is wrong with it? I have been meaning to write for ages, but I'm afraid I just haven't got around to it. It was lovely to get your letter yesterday. I thought I would drop you a line to help you organize your studying hours as you asked me in your last letter. This line is so provocative and provoking, and so kind of being arrogant. I thought I would drop you a line to help you organize your studying hours as you asked me in your last letter. Here we are having the ministry uh, organizing our studying hours. This is so against the concept of you being a friend. and I've been meaning to write for ages is not acceptable for writing as a reply for an advice letter. Number 3, how are you? I hope you're feeling better. I thought I would drop you a line to cheer you up because I have been in the same boat before. This sounds okay. It's not that wrong. How are you? I hope you're feeling better. I thought I would drop you a line to cheer you up because I have been in the same boat. Not wrong. It's kind of okay. Number 4, how are you? It was lovely to get your letter this morning, but I was sorry to hear that you're having problems with your English. Don't worry, I have been in the same boat last year. There is one mistake in number 4, a grammatical mistake. When it comes to the style, it's correct because it didn't start with an apology. It said that it was lovely to get your letter this morning. Sorry to hear that you're having problems with the English. Don't worry. Till here, it's fine, but there is a mistake in this line. I have been in the same boat last year. If you recognize the problem, you can send me privately. Basically, the problem is here. Don't worry. I have been in the same boat last year. Here, you cannot use have been while you are mentioning yes, Jumana and Nada. While you are mentioning, correct, perfect. Because you're mentioning last year. As I have just said, if you are going to use last year, use was. If you are going to say, I have been in the same boat, do not mention when exactly. Okay? So, this part that I was explaining, if you're going to tell your friend that you was in the same boat, you have to mention when exactly. If you're not going to mention when exactly or the time frame, do not use the present perfect. So till here, we have discussed the introduction of the advice letter, and we said that you cannot start with an apology. You cannot say that you haven't written for ages because this means that you are not a reliable friend while your friend is sending you a request or a complaint. You're going to say that it was really great to hear from you, but I was sorry to hear that you are facing troubles with your weight, with your math, with your English, with your family, with your new school, and so on. This was an example to sum things up. It was lovely to, it was great to get your letter yesterday. And of course, try to mention when exactly, maybe this morning, yesterday. Yeah, but I'm sorry you're worried about being overweight or being sick or about coronavirus. Try not to worry about it, or don't worry. I know how you feel because I've been in the same boat. And by putting this full stop, you are finishing the first paragraph, which is the introduction, okay? And then you are going to leave space to give the examiner the feeling or the assurance that you have finished the first paragraph. Why can't we write I had been in the, because I had been is, you're going to be talking about an action that happened in the past before another action, and it took a duration. Here, you're not on a timeline saying that something happened before something else. You're just saying in your life, your entire life, you have been in the same boat. Had is past perfect. Whenever you use past perfect, you're talking about two actions on the timeline. It has to include a timeline. So here you're going to start the body of the letter, and we said before you have to personalize as much as you can by saying how much you know your sorry, your friend loves chocolate, or she hates exercise, or she's lazy, she's a couch potato. And we said before, you cannot give her advice as being superior and arrogant and, you know, Mr. I know everything. No, you have to be compassionate, you have to be nice, uh, making the friend really comfortable. So I know how much you love chocolate. I know how addicted you are to junk food. I know how much you hate exercise. What a couch potato you are. Or no, I know how much how addicted you are to Netflix, for example. If your friend is asking you to advise her how to get rid of wasting her time on TV. Or I know you're not the world's most energetic person. You have to personalize to give the examiner the feeling that you really know your friend and you do understand this rule. You have to personalize the friendly email. That's why it's called friendly email. Okay, and we said that you have a limit of only 3 pieces of advice, and there is nothing on earth called advices. It doesn't have a plural. It is going to be pieces of advice. So you are going to advise her to give up chocolate, join a sports club, take up walking, go to the gym, drink more water, whatever advice you have in your mind. You really, you could, you should. Of course, you're not going to say must because you're giving advice. That's why you were taking the model verbs yesterday. Try to, don't forget to, whatever happens. And so on. If till now you don't have a PDF version of this book, please text me so I can send you the PDF version. Do not enter year 9 without having this book in your hand. Actually, the class is about to finish. We're going to um, continue on the advice letter in the upcoming days, but not today, of course, because the upcoming information has to be continued more and more, needs a lot of time. So that's it for today. And don't forget to have this book with you whenever, wherever you are going, even if you're not sure if you're going to continue with IGs or no. That's it for today. Why can't we write? I have been in the miss. Is it the same book that you showed us? Yes, it is the same book that I showed you last year. And thank you for using the good structure, Noor. Yes, last year I showed you this book. So girls, that's it for today. Have a nice day. I'm really happy that you're attending with me, that you are concentrating with your IGs, and that you really know what you're planning to. So thank you for that. Have a nice day and bye.